This episode of Just the Tip-Sters is sponsored by Clean Spa Bath & Body. That's clean with a K. Cleanspa.com. Clean Spa. Prepare to smell delicious.
From the Homestead Studios in Santa Clarita, California, it's Just the Tip-Sters with Melissa Morgan.
Hello from the other side.
You've got a tip for Melissa? A secret you promised you'd never to reveal, but you just can't keep it in anymore. Something you saw that just didn't feel right. Proof that robocalls are actually the government brainwashing us using rage and anguish as a trigger. Tell us about it by calling the Tipster hotline at 832-TIPSTER. That's 832-847-7837, or send an email to jttipsters@gmail.com. And now here's your host. Summer's arrived, and she's ready to greet the sun goddess with a sawed-off shotgun and extra shells. Melissa Morgan!
More cowbell! That is a complete lie, producer Mark. You know I don't own weaponry. I mean, other than the Louisville Slugger.
Well, there's the Louisville Slugger. You'd certainly greet the sun goddess with that.
If I could reach her, I'd bat her fucking face off and tell her to go to Florida and leave me the fuck alone. Is what I would do.
See what I'm saying, people?
Right.
You hear it there?
Yeah. Also, my hands are registered as lethal weapons.
Well, that we already knew, but that's kind of...
Those are the only weapons we need in the house.
Yeah.
Louisville Slugger in my hands.
Yes.
Because you can't really shoot the sun goddess, whatever she is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, the sun people. Although I'm kind of excited that I got 25% off of my new favorite thing ever.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm going to set it up in the backyard.
Look, our backyard, the grass died, and it's all just dirt. So
and mostly patio.
There's a big concrete patio, but then you're going to have to... Would you tell the people what you got, darling?
It's a unicorn sprinkler.
It's a big, giant, blow-up unicorn sprinkler.
6 foot tall unicorn sprinkler. Water comes out its little horn. I was praying you didn't put the hose up its butthole, and you don't. You put it in its chest.
It's like its heart. It's its beating heart.
Yeah, and it's splurting out its life force in the shape of water.
Through its unicorn.
Through its horn.
Yeah.
And on top of me.
You have fun blowing that up out on hot concrete patio when it's 103 degrees outside.
I might do it in the garage.
Where it's about 102 degrees.
But it's shaded.
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
So you won't get sunstroke.
I won't. I hope. I won't. I might get heat stroke, but I won't get sunstroke.
You won't get sunstroke.
And I'm very excited about running through my unicorn sprinkler.
All right.
25% off because our local Bed Bath & Beyond is closing.
She is adorable when she puts on her little bathing suit. She starts running through the...
It has ruffles on the butt.
Yeah, it has ruffles on the butt, and you look like you're about 6 years old. And it's
like a crazy, broke down, old, fat 6-year-old, just running around under a sprinkler.
Now stop that.
Okay.
You look cute. You look adorable.
Yeah.
You do.
Totes. Totes adorbs. But our local Bed Bath & Beyond is going out of business or moving or lost their lease or whatever they're lying.
They gave up
excuse.
their lease.
Yeah, whatever.
They gave up their lease.
Lying liars who lie. And so I would never. Every year, people, sweet, kind, thoughtful humans, enablers, really, send me the ad for the unicorn sprinkler. And every year I go, look, number one, wouldn't pay $50 goddamn dollars. Number two, I'm an old lady. I'm not a child. Please stop sending me this bullshit, you enablers. And then this year...
Well, let's just stop there for a second, because there are probably 2 or 3 times a year when I'm laying in bed, we're about ready to go to sleep, and you're looking at your phone, and I hear, nothing, nothing. And I go, what is it? Nothing. And I find out that it's some sort of big blow-up unicorn thing that you absolutely need. And by the way, we have...
That's a float.
You got a float.
That's a rafty float thing.
You got a raft. You got a unicorn raft. You got a unicorn snow thing too.
Oh shit, I forgot
that you got for Christmas a couple of years ago.
And we live in Southern California.
Yeah, we live where it's right now. It's 103 degrees outside. So anyway, it's not just that you don't. Anyway,
how about if I admit to keeping it down to one large unicorn blow up item per year?
That's fine.
Okay.
I am your slave. I will do whatever you want. If you want to do that, it's fine with me.
I got it 25% off.
I know, it's a good price.
It was a good price.
Yeah, and there's a big backyard with cement and mud back there that you can play around.
It's not mud,
in.
it's dry because it's hot.
Well, when the
unicorn
sprinkler goes off, it's going to be mud.
I liked your suggestion of putting him in the front yard.
Well, the HOA will probably come after us.
But if just for a short period of time, I just put him in there and I can run through the sprinkler in my bathing suit with the ruffle on the butt, and then
you can invite local kids over.
Nope, just me.
Oh, come on, the kids across the street would have fun.
Nope, they got their own yard.
Oh my god.
Nope.
You hear that, folks?
Yeah, it's mine, and then I will take it down so that the HOA doesn't come down on us for having an unusual object in our front yard that a grown-ass woman's running through, her unicorn sprinkler that she got 25% off. So speaking of water, producer Mark has mentioned several times his career, and it is a 24-hour career. It's not like he's a 911 dispatcher, but he is a risk manager, and he manages the risk. And when shit happens, he's the guy, literally in this story, when shit happens, he's the guy they call. And it's a Sunday morning, and a retail establishment had what is known in the industry as a Blackwater event. So in my ignorance to try and cheer producer Mark up, I started singing the Doobie Brothers. Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling.
Oh, and that was adorable, too.
It was cute. You didn't smile once, but it was really cute of me to try and
because I was being inundated with texts from people saying, holy shit, there's shit water on the floor.
Yeah. So that's, I'm glad you said it as shit water, because I thought Blackwater was like a political thing. I don't know.
It could be.
I mean, it was Whitewater.
Oh, there was Whitewater. That was one political thing, and I think there was wasn't there some sort of private military thing called Blackwater? I don't remember.
Black Ops? I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, I get the whites and the blacks confused, which is probably good. I'm colorblind. So I'm not actually. Mark is actually officially colorblind. But so yeah, Whitewater, Blackwater. Someone mentioned to me several years ago when California was in a drought, the use of gray water for watering lawn. We at one point we weren't allowed to use our fountains. We have some cute fountains, one in the front and one in the back. Haven't used them for a couple of years, even though I guess that has been lifted. But there was a ban. You couldn't wash your car yourself. You were not allowed to wash your car in your own driveway because you would be using too much water, which is bullshit. But anyway,
well, not really.
Yeah, it's really. So there was a lot of rain this spring in California, and a lot of snowpack and runoff from the snowpack, and then of course there's the ocean water is rising because there's the Arctic tables are melting, and the Arctic snow cap is melting, and we're all going to either burn to death from global warming or drown from Arctic whatever snow pack stuff. All I know is that I will have a whole bunch of straws hoarded. That's all I really know. So if anyone needs a plastic straw, they can come to me. So this Blackwater event this morning, I know producer Mark doesn't want to go into the details.
Well, no, it's simple. We the company I work for owns a bunch of local shopping centers, strip mall type shopping centers, and this was it's a candy store. I'll just say it was a candy store that's in one of our centers, and their bathroom toilet overflowed and, got into the store and on the floor. And it did not touch the candy, but it didn't come close to the candy, but it's what they call a Blackwater event because it's sewer water coming up into the suite. So it happened yesterday, and I started spending all this time on it last night anyway.
I thought it happened this morning. I forgot.
Well,
I was going to say because they typically are not open on Sunday, so who was someone in there like shitting up the toilet and then flushing it?
No. This was yesterday, which is a Saturday, which they were open, and it happened yesterday, and apparently The owner of the candy store thinks that it's the pizza place next door that's clogging up the plumbing lines, and so I had to do with all
Because all that cheese.
yeah, I had to deal with a bunch of different issues today that I didn't expect, and it's 100 plus degrees outside, and it's cranky making, and there's sewer water to deal with, but it's almost all cleaned up now, disinfected, and I've got a great team of people that work with me, so.
And I found out a very important piece of information in my mind. Chocolate absorbs odor.
That's what they told me. That's what the owner of the candy store told me.
So we don't want any shit tasting chocolate.
Well, and the moral
shit smelling chocolate.
Do not store your chocolate
in the toilet.
in the loo.
This is the worst intro to a podcast ever. So
I
this
think
is
it's
good.
cool.
Okay, well you're like
I'm
a weirdo.
A boy and I like poop.
Because you're a effing weirdo.
Yay!
So,
poop.
oh my God, stop it. So, one thing I wanted to mention, a couple things I wanted to mention actually. A sweet tipster named Jeremy posted a lovely comment on our Facebook page about how he liked our interaction together, which is hilarious because most of the time I think we should both just be arrested, but it was very sweet of him. But most true crime aficionados are women. 80 to 90% of listeners to podcasts and watchers of true crime documentary or, reality type shows are women. So it's really nice when a dude listens and comments and enjoys the show. That sort of makes everything seem even more lovely than it already is. So I just wanted to say thank you to Tipster Jeremy. This episode, as you know, is sponsored by Clean Spa by Jennifer Hardaway. And Clean Spa's perfumes are really exquisite. And Clean Spa also makes it possible for you to create your own personal scent, working one-on-one with one of Clean Spa's mixtresses, which is a lovely name for them. And all of this can happen at Jennifer's beautiful store, Phoebe Peacock Boutique. Now, it's in Burbank, California. It's on Magnolia. If you live in the area, if you plan on coming to Southern California, it's a really great place to visit. It's an experience that you should not miss. It's a beautiful store. Every time I go in there, I find something fantastic to get for myself and for others. I found these sloth pop-up cards that are just magnificent, and she carries a lot of it's like a gift store as well as her scent store. And you can arrange a private session with Jennifer, or you can book a blending party for you and your friends. So you could come by yourself and have Jennifer help you create a scent that you want, or you could have a group of friends. I think it's a fantastic thing to do for a bridal shower, a birthday party, even a baby shower. It's fantastic. It's sort of like a wine tasting party, but you use your sense of smell to choose from Clean Spa's incredible selection of delicious fragrances. And then you can blend the perfect mix that's right for you. And once you've created your own personal scent, Clean Spa keeps a copy of it on file so that if you ever need a refill. So you can order your own personal scent session or blending party by visiting cleanspa.com and clicking on Custom Scent, the link that says Custom Scent. Normally, discounts don't apply to these sessions, but for a limited time, the Just the Tipsters listeners can still get 15% off of a blending session or a blending party, just like the 15% discount you get on your total order for everything that you order from the website. And you just enter Tip-Sters at the checkout. Remember, that's clean with a K, cleanspa.com. Clean Spa. Prepare to smell delicious. So this episode, we actually had something else prepared, but we got a wonderful email from tipster Rebecca, who is also a Kentucky girl like me. And she sent us a great email. She had mentioned how much she appreciated that we covered the Savannah Spurlock case, and she was hoping for an update. So for the tipsters who might be new to the podcast, it was episode 28 of this year. It was in June of 2019, but episode 28 of season 2. And having covered it just so recently, and then it's one of the reasons I don't particularly like to do more recent cases. Sometimes they get solved quickly, which is what you hope for, but you feel like if you're covering the case in a podcast or however you cover a case, you feel like you're not doing anything to shine a light on the case or bring attention to it because it's still so new. And that happened here, but it was still such an interesting case. And it took, 6 months, almost 7 months for her family to be given any sort of peace of mind about what happened to their daughter, their sister, their mother. So just to recap, Savannah Spurlock, 22 at the time, just a month away from her 23rd birthday. And she had 4 boys, 3 with the same father and 1 with a different father. And she had gone to Eastern Kentucky University, wanted to major in health administration. She was the kind of girl who was always wanting to help people. One of the loves of her life was also being a lifeguard. So that someone like that really has that thing inside of them where they want to help others. And her mother, had decided, look, you have been trapped with these kids for a long time. And she had just given birth to her twins a month before. So on Saturday, January 5th, her mother, Ellen, said, why don't you go out with your best friend? They live in Richmond, Kentucky. Why don't you go out with your best friend and do something for yourself? I've got the boys. Go have a good time. Take my car. And she left around 10 o'clock with her friends and went to a bar in Lexington called The Other Bar. And one of her friends and she had gotten into an argument, which was a really awful event, as we know the future. And her other friend had wanted to go home earlier than Savannah did, and she ended up staying. And she left the bar around 2 a.m. with 3 men, 2 African-American men and 1 white Caucasian male. And one of them was following behind in a Chevy S10 pickup truck, a gray pickup truck. And the other ones were in the SUV. And Savannah was in the passenger seat. And she FaceTimed her mom around 2:30. Now, her mom didn't know exactly what to make of this. She, said she didn't look under duress, but that she seemed a little intoxicated. Now, that makes sense. It's 2:30 in the morning. She's had a few hours at a bar with friends. And she said, everything's fine. I'm just having fun with my friends, and I'll be home later this morning. And that didn't happen. So when her mom gets up at 8:30 on Sunday morning, she says, this is not right. She would never stay out this long. So, she calls the Richmond police and she says, I need help. And they immediately kick into gear, which is something you also don't always hear about. She was an adult. She could have just wanted some time by herself. And the police kick into gear pretty quickly, and they want help from the public. Here's this video from the other bar. These people leaving with Savannah. Unknown black males, unknown white male. Here is this, blackish gray Chevy S10 pickup truck. Please, if you know anything. And it really did not take long. And of course, Savannah is in the video too. It did not take long, before people were like, oh, it's these guys. So they had the names pretty quickly. And I think like a smart, law enforcement agency, they know, chances are, who did she leave with? That's probably who did something to her if she's not coming back.
Well, sure. And the fact that when her mom FaceTimed her, there they were.
Right. And they apparently what they said was like a chill out, chill out, mom. I mean, she was being responsible, letting her mom know, look, yes, my friends left. Yes, I'm leaving with other people. Everything's fine. Don't worry about me. So she was being as responsible as a 22-year-old, girl with a lot of responsibilities could be at the moment. please don't worry about me. I'm an adult. Thanks for taking care of the boys. I'll be home soon. And that just didn't happen. So Savannah's aunt, Lisa, has kind of turned into a spokesperson for the family. And she was a good person to choose as a spokesperson. Her mother and father are lovely people, and they do a wonderful job of explaining who their daughter is, but maybe one step removed is a little less pressure on her to try and explain and keep the emotions held in about what's happening to her niece. And she says, look, this is someone's daughter, someone's mother, someone's sister, and someone's niece, and someone's best friend. And the thing that Lisa Toma has always said that struck me right in the heart was, she's worthy for us looking for her. She's worthy of us missing her and looking for her. And she, of course, begs anyone, if you know anything, come forward. Please call the Richmond, Kentucky Police Department. If you saw something, if you heard something, we don't care how small it is. It could be a piece of the puzzle that's missing, and you could hold the key to bringing her home. She really is a fantastic spokesperson. So on Monday, January 21st, a few weeks after Savannah's been missing, her mother received awful messages from people that claimed to have information about Savannah, but they would only release it for a fee. So send us 8 Bitcoin to the below address and be smart about it, or you'll never see her again.
Oh, that's just...
You have 12 hours.
Oh, for God's sake,
I mean, her mother, Ellen, I can't, other people asked her mom for Amazon gift cards so they could feed her. They were claiming they were starving Savannah and, give us these Amazon gift cards that we asked for.
God, the horrible people just come out of the woodwork on these things.
So by the next day, by Tuesday the 22nd, the police had located 2 of the men in the picture. And the third man, they said, left on January 4th. It didn't take long. They actually had them by like 6 days later, but I guess they released the video and oddly they kept the names. I don't really get that. But so the law enforcement executed a search warrant in Girard County. The house, as we know now, belonged to the parents of one of the men in the surveillance video. And they seized a vehicle from the property. And the vehicle Savannah drove to Lexington was located in that area, just like the weekend that she went missing, the weekend after she went missing. They located her mom's car that she had driven, just a week after she had gone missing. So they had looked in actually Madison County, Girard County, Lincoln County, and Fayette County before they really decided to hone in on Girard County and the home that was owned by one of the people that left with Savannah and as far as the footage. So on Monday, January 28th, police announced that they've identified and questioned these 3 men that were last seen with her. They say no one has been charged with any criminal offense at this time. We're continuing our search for Savannah and appreciate everything that the public and the media are doing to assist in the efforts. There are many people, organizations, and volunteers that have assisted us over the past few weeks, and we're thankful, and finding Savannah continues to be a top priority. So on January 27th, the Cajun Coast Search and Rescue Team announced that it's going to be traveling to Kentucky to aid in the search for Savannah. They have specialized canines that work on missing persons cases across the country, even though they're the Cajun Coast Search and Rescue Team. And there had been some talk that she had potentially been put into a pond in a park. There was some talk about seeing her standing near a railing in a pond, and we know that now that's not true. So on February 3rd, the Cajun Coast Search and Rescue Team decided to go to social media and talk about their involvement. Our team is still very active. We won't stop searching for this beautiful girl until she's home. We continue to pray and search for her. Please say a prayer. So they had already noted in their social media posts that they had searched miles and miles of land. One of the things that's heartbreaking is because we know with hindsight is 2020, the property that the person arrested, David Sparks, the property that was owned on Perkins Avenue in Girard County, owned by his parents, that had been searched not long after Savannah went missing. It really did not take long, and nothing was found.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, wow. I wonder where the body was.
Right.
Okay.
Which a statement from the Kentucky State Police later casts even more of a mystery, because exactly what you just said, producer Mark. Wonder where the body was. So this is one of those cases that I think they kicked into gear pretty fast. They identified the suspects fast, and I think what they just needed to do, and this is a terrible thing to say, but it happens. I think they just needed to build their case. I'm sorry it took this long. I am especially sorry for Savannah's family that it took this long, because I think they knew pretty much right away what happened and who did it. And it was an odd occurrence that they had searched the house and the property of David Sparks, or the parents of David Sparks who owned the property, and had found nothing of evidentiary value at the time, 4 months ago.
That's weird. Somebody else is involved, obviously.
Well, there's a couple of theories. We can go over those later. So, in February, authorities were able to confirm that Savannah had been taken home by one of the three men that she was leaving the bar with. They also confirmed it's like 40 miles from the other bar in Lexington to this rural part of Girard County. It's 40 miles away. And the Kentucky State Police was able to confirm they did not know Savannah prior to meeting her at the bar. Now, there had been some talk back and forth, like, had she known them? Had she not really known them, but had, potentially, like, oh, you're a friend of a friend? Oh, okay. So, both of the vehicles that left the other bar, the SUV that she was in and the Chevy truck that was following the SUV, had undergone forensic testing, but the authorities wouldn't release their findings. It may have just shown that she was in the car, but one of the men with Savannah that she had left with that night said that, oh, she left in the morning. And then he wouldn't specify how she left. Just, oh, she left. I don't know, she left. She left early in the morning in January with no coat and high heels.
Yeah, where it snows.
Mm-hmm. The other two people who are considered at this point not to be suspects backed up that account. Oh, yeah, she left. She left.
I gotta believe these other guys are somehow going to end up in jail as well.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be very interesting. So on Tuesday, February 5th, which would have been Savannah's 23rd birthday, a large group of searchers took to searching cornfields, bridges, anything that they could find to look for clues. And Savannah's Uncle Mark, who's married to her Aunt Lisa, said this is an important day that she's not here for, and it makes her absence that much more obvious. So the search team was volunteer canine units, family, friends, and even some former Marines volunteered to help look, because I think they thought they could narrow down an area and look in a more military kind of way, which is, it's important when you're looking for someone. If it's me, I would go off half-cocked and just look everywhere and anywhere, and you save your strength and your energy and you double your efforts by narrowing it down. I learned that from Carrie and from Pam and those who have actually done, on the ground searches and when searching for a missing man in my area. It was fascinating. And you think, oh, I live in a pretty small community. Well, when you are looking and walking the ground that you don't know if someone may be buried under or lying on top of, it becomes a really big world. It's a small world, but it becomes a really big world. So Savannah's father had not really spoken much. He was a pretty quiet parent in this whole horrible ordeal. And he was taking care of her older son, the 4-year-old. And he was trying hard to remain strong because he didn't want his grandson to see him upset. And he's like, mommy's, your mommy's not here. And he kept trying to find excuses and reasons and didn't want his happy little 4-year-old grandson to know that he was dying inside. And he said, I've got to maintain around him. I just can't lose it. And him being here actually helps me. He was also very honest and said that he felt his daughter was making terrible decisions at the time of her disappearance, but he thought, she's going to get back on the right path. She had taken time out of school to have the twins a month earlier. They totally supported that. She still wanted to go back to school to major in health administration, and she loved being a lifeguard. And her father said, that's my girl. She's outgoing, kind, and loving. So not that long after they got there, a couple of weeks, the Cajun Coast Search and Rescue Team said, we're going to be leaving the state of Kentucky. Our time in Kentucky here has come to an end, Commander Tony Wade said. He said adverse weather conditions made it difficult for them to traverse the area because there was a lot of snow. The search on February 5th, her birthday, was, the pictures are overwhelming. People are wrapped up like they're in the Arctic and they're stomping through fields and snow and bridges trying to find this, poor girl. It's really heartbreaking. Weather conditions can really change everything as far as a search. And this, search and rescue, the Cajun Search and Rescue Team, I'm sure was not used to trying to work in these conditions. And I get it. It was May 29th when Lisa Toma, Savannah's aunt, said, she's worthy of being found. She's worthy of us looking for her. And she said, we have had so much support from strangers all over the world that are praying for us. And there are so many other families going through the same thing. It's eye-opening, this general problem of missing people. It's been really eye-opening, and it's really terrible. So just a week ago, on Wednesday, July 10th, just before midnight, authorities found human remains in connection with Savannah's case at the home in Girard County on Perkins Street. And they charged David Sparks, who's 24, with abuse of a corpse and tampering with physical evidence. They searched the home in January and found nothing. And 6 months later, a neighbor reports a foul odor.
Ah, I see.
And the police find remains and items which only could have belonged to Savannah on the property. So, your question, Producer Mark, why didn't they find her in January? Now, the statement made by Kentucky State Trooper Robert Purdy was, I don't believe there's any indication that she was placed there recently.
Well, okay, but they searched anyway.
Right. What I'm saying is, when you said earlier, why didn't they find her earlier? My theory was they moved her. I mean, there's still no cause of death. I'm quite sure David Sparks will say, bitch fell and hit her head.
Yeah.
And didn't know what to do. So, I buried her. And apparently, I'm just going to say this, and I don't want to sound ghoulish. She wasn't buried very deep.
Yeah, he's obviously not a Phi Beta Kappa.
Right. So here's how much of a not Phi Beta Kappa David Sparks is. He sent his sister a text on January 4th asking where she got the rug at her house because he would be needing a new one.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Okay.
And he was seen on video at Walmart buying a new rug on January 4th.
Right. So definitely not Phi Beta Kappa.
No, because Savannah Spurlock was found naked, bound around the ankles and feet, wrapped in a rug from his home on his property. And I don't exactly know how to say this without sounding as if I'm shaming the Kentucky State Police, but they said the grave was so shallow it was 19 inches deep. Less than 2 feet. He dug her less than 2 feet. So she's naked, bound by the ankles and wrists, wrapped in a rug. And today in court, the Kentucky State Police describe it as being in an unnatural position. So David Sparks can say anything he wants to say. In fact, what he said was that he and the other 2 men who have not been arrested yet or are even called suspects at this point went to his home, the home that his family member owns. Savannah slept in his bed. He slept on the couch, and the other 2 men left. He said that she woke him up sometime early in the morning on the couch and asked for his address, which he assumed was for her to call a ride-sharing, use a ride-sharing app to get a lift to get back to her mother's car she had borrowed, even though it was found very close to his house in Girard County, 40 miles from the bar that they left. So David Sparks said, I don't know how she left, when she left, or what happened. And the other 2 men had said that they agreed with him that, yeah, she left. So I'm not sure how the story came down if he said that they agreed with him, but he said they left and she slept in his bed and he slept on the couch.
Yeah, it's all total bullshit.
So the story obviously changed. He entered a not guilty plea, his attorney, and he declined to comment anymore. The case has been kicked up to the grand jury to see if there's enough evidence to indict him, which of course there is. And he is being held without bond. And the thing I find even more interesting is that apparently a family member lives near the property, and a family member reported to the police there is a very foul odor coming from the property. So at least a member of his family was brave enough to stand up and say, well, a girl disappeared in David's care, and I know they're both adults. But the fact that they're both 23 is also shocking. A 23-year-old man kills a 22, almost 23-year-old woman, mother of 4, wraps her in a rug, buries her in a 19-inch deep grave on his property, and asks his sister, where can I get a new rug? So her mother, Ellen, said, our sobs of pain and physical anguish are met with moments of beautiful memories of the vibrant and vivacious person she was. She lives on through her precious boys, who each carry a special part of her in them. And as hard as the last 6 months have been, the truth of what happened that night in January is going to be even more painful. We have fought a very public fight, and now we must step away and grieve privately. And the day that this episode airs is when her funeral will be, Tuesday, July 16th. And it is a private service, understood. They released the date, the time, and the location of the funeral. I imagine there'll be lots of media coverage outside where this funeral home owns property, maybe on the sidewalk or the street. The funeral services and the burial are private. They're this Tuesday, July 16th. And her obituary says, Savannah Marie Spurlock was born on February 5th of 1996 in Richmond, Kentucky. She was a loving mother, daughter, friend. She graduated from Madison Central High in 2014 and attended Eastern Kentucky University. She worked in the restaurant industry and loved being a lifeguard. She was a beautiful spirit, and her beautiful soul touched many lives. She gained her wings to be with her nanny, Arlene Spurlock. And if desired, in lieu of flowers, memorial contributions may be made to the Aware Foundation, Inc., or Lost and Missing, Inc. Now it's LOST, capital letter N, missing, comma, Inc. And I've looked up both organizations. Quite frankly, neither of them are easy to find. The Aware Foundation, Inc. is located in Virginia. There are a couple of different versions of the Aware Foundation, but the Aware Foundation in Virginia is the one that tries to, reunite people that are missing, mostly children, with their families. And Lost and Missing, Inc. has a wonderful statement that says, our missing have families who are seeking assistance to gain public awareness of their missing family member. Unfortunately, the media is ever-changing and may only provide coverage for a limited time before they move on to other cases. At Lost and Missing, Inc., our core cultural value is to continue to bring awareness to the public of those missing and support law enforcement and families in all ways possible with media, internet, and public awareness. We utilize all possible avenues approved by the family in order to help bring a missing loved one home. We guide and advocate for the family of missing adults by hosting numerous community events, and our services provide the tools necessary for family members to obtain assistance at no charge to support and guide them in helping to find their lost or missing loved one. A proactive approach will always be provided to assist with the marketing and media awareness of a missing loved one upon proof of a filed and accepted missing persons police report. We not only work with families of missing loved ones, but also have a team that specializes with entering the missing into NamUs, as well as research and help bring identification to unidentified deceased loved ones. Through the NamUs website, we try to match unidentified earthly bodies with those who are missing to help bring families their needed answers and to bring their loved ones home. We do not discontinue our relationships with our families once a loved one is located. Just the opposite. We stay with them and even help them with their loved one's welcome home celebration, or in the case of a passing, their celebration of life services. Many former families of the missing assist in the lost and missing support member role to be available to other families of the missing as well. So that is a beautiful organization, and they recruit family members of other missing people to help support people whose family members are missing, because you feel like you're alone and that no one understands what you're going through when a family member is missing, except for someone else who has a missing family member. And while this story didn't have the ending we wanted, I know Savannah was loved so much in her short time here. And like her family's statement from her mother said, she lives on in those 4 boys and that family that loves her and those boys. So she's still with us. And more cowbell.
And remember to subscribe at Apple Podcasts and then rate and review. or subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. To become a patron of the podcast, go to patreon.com/justthetipsters, call us at 832-TIPSTER, or send us an email to jttipsters@gmail.com.